I'm Callie and welcome to Kapowski Reads. I am standing on a really creaky part of the floor. Now that I do that, it's not actually picking up. This is my October TBR game. I'm very excited to be starting October because my September reading has been atrocious. At this moment in time, I am filming this the day before I'm going to be sharing this video. So like super last minute for September. And I have had 8 2-star or less rated books. And I feel I'm pretty generous with my rating system. I have just kind of been in that mood where I think I've made really bad decisions. And I've not liked a lot of things I've been reading. So normally I would go through my September TBR and say what I read, how I got on with that. But I only have one book from that list that I've read because I've been in a bit of a slump after reading disappointing books. The only one of those books that I have finished was Isolation Island by Louise Minchin. It was a fun thriller and I do have a vlog for this book. I will pop a link in the description because I definitely filmed it. I had a good time with it. It was a little, throw my hair bobble around. It was a little predictable, but overall it was a good time. My interest was hooked. What more could I ask for? I was very pleased by it. Let's just draw a line under September because it was an awful reading month for me and I was left pretty disenchanted. So let's hope October is better. I am toying with the idea of doing Vlogtober, but like if I start having a run of really bad, not enjoyed books, that will change because who wants to vlog about books that are awful? So let's get on to the October rules. Rule number 1, and the boiler is on so it might be loud. Rule number 1 is an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pink, which is a new to me author. Rule number 1 was a pink prompt and this is a new to me author. And I feel like this might be a bit of a cheat, but it's my game and I think it's okay. I'm going with Dracul by Dacra Stoker. I say they think this is a cheat because it's based on the writing of Bram Stoker, but he didn't write this, so I'm going with it. This, as far as I'm aware, is like a Dracula prequel, and Dracula is one of my favourite classics. I read it every year along with a whole gaggle of other favourites. So I'm gonna read this and I want to read it and I'm very excited about it. It's kind of a bit chunky, but I didn't get to it last year. Was it last year or the year before? I didn't get to it previously. I want to read it and I want to read it in October. So it's first on the list and I'm excited. Rule number 2. 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. A free pick. Rule 2. I don't know if the board is being kind to me with a bigger number and a free space, but I feel it might be because it knows I've had not the best reading month. I got a free space, so I'm going to pick. I had a little look at what books I had and thought, I don't know what to go with, so I'm going to go with a book that seems somewhat ridiculous because I think I could have a good time. At the very least, I think it'll be amusing and entertaining. So I'm picking Oops, I Ate a Vengeance Demon by Loretta Hignett. I don't know too much about this book. It's romantasy and I think it's going to be a little weird. I think it's going to be unusual. I think it's going to be just a fun little read. I got this in one of those stuff your Kindle days. So I got it ages and ages ago. It is sat on my shelf just waiting and this is its time to shine and hopefully amuse me. I could really do with a fun read. Rule number 3. A 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. A very short TBR, a standalone green. This is super short. A final roll, because there's no prompt for the end space. Final roll was a green prompt, and this is a standalone book, and I am going with an ARC that I have on NetGalley, William by Mason Coyle. This is a haunted house horror and the ghosty is actually the house. It's AI, and I'm really excited because I love a haunted house story, and I really like books that kind of draw terror from things that are in our everyday life, such as artificial intelligence. I think this is going to be really, really fun, but I think it's going to be really creepy, and I think I'm going to get creeped out because we've got a lot of like high-techy things going on in our house. By the way I say that, you can tell that I have no idea of the high-tech nature of them. Like, we have, it's maybe not that high-tech, we have lights that go on, motion sensor lights. That's probably about it. I'm just thinking our house is super high-tech. It's just a normal house, but the lights go on when you walk past the sensor. But I think this book is gonna kind of give me a little bit of terror, which I'm looking forward to. I would love to have a little bit of terror. So my rolls may be small, but I have extra books and I have a notepad. So I would love, if possible, to actually achieve some of my reading goals in October. That would be nice. So I've got extra books I'm adding onto my list. I have books for the diverse baseline. There are 3 prompts. The first one is a horror, thriller or mystery, and again I feel I'm kind of cheating, but it's my game, it's fine, I can totally cheat. I'm gonna pop on My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. I'm partway through this book, that's why I think it's a bit of a cheat. I stopped reading this book because I was feeling in a kind of I hate everything kind of mood, and I didn't want that to reflect on this book because I was enjoying it, and then I kind of felt a bit, I don't like things, and I didn't want to taint this book with my bad attitude. So I'm gonna pick this back up again, and I'm very excited. This is a kind of homage to the slasher genre, and I am 100 pages in. So far I'm liking it. We've got a main character called Jade who's not like other girls. There's nothing wrong with being like other girls. Other girls are great. She is obsessed with slasher films. She's just so into them, and she kind of finds herself thinking she might be in a real life slasher movie, and she meets this girl at her school and she's like, that's our final girl. I'm not the final girl, but she's our final girl. And that's where I am so far. We have had some little suggestions of things are happening, goings on, and I'm intrigued. But when my silly brain is feeling better, I will go back to this book. I just didn't want to ruin it because I think I'm going to really enjoy it. Next is a book by a trans, bigender or genderqueer author, and I am going with an ebook that I got from the library called Fresh Water by Akwaki Emezi, and this is a sort of coming of age novel. I know it's going to be a little bit, there may be moments where it's quite difficult to read because the main character finds herself sort of spiraling into darkness and doing some things that are perhaps not quite healthy or safe, but I'm very intrigued by this. And a book of my choice. I don't feel I'm in a place to be making my own choices here. This is why I've got a game. Take it out of my hands, put it into fate. So I again went to my library because I just didn't know what I wanted to read, and I had a little look at what was new on the library app, and they had an essay collection that sounded really interesting to me, so I'm going to be reading I Will Not Be Erased. This is an essay collection put together by a magazine called Galore. This is a magazine where all of the content is created by creators who are of colour and are either women or non-binary. I'm really into, like, I'm really into reading essay collections. I say this as a person who has read like 3 essay collections this year, but I really enjoyed them. So I'm really looking forward to reading another one. I do like having an essay collection where every one is written by a different person. You get a really good sort of wide viewpoint, and this collection is all about growing up as a person of colour, and I think that it will be really interesting to get all of these different viewpoints. I think there's 14 essays in total. For Read Christie, we are now into the 60s and 70s, which is wild. It's so, like, I know Agatha Christie was alive then, but it's so, when I think of Agatha Christie, I don't know about you, but I think, you know, 20s to maybe the 50s. I don't think 70s, but I'm going with The Pale Horse. This is one of my favourite kind of spookier Agatha Christie books. I like to read this in October. I haven't read this for a while, so it will be really interesting to have a reread of it. When did this come out? This book was published in 1961. Sorry, I got distracted by a bird doing something weird outside. It's fine. It's just, it was being very flappy. I thought it was in danger. It's not, it's okay. And Kayla's Buzzword, finally. I've been doing pretty badly in Kayla's Buzzword. This year I didn't manage to get to the Buzzword for September, but to be fair, I was really struggling to find any book in my collection that met the criteria. So I am going to be going with the theme, the word, buzzword, is relationships. I took this as a very good excuse to use one of my Audible credits, because I currently have 4 Audible credits and I've not used them. So I used one of those to get My Husband by Maud Ventura. I have wanted to read this book since last year. And this is a somewhat Stepford wife character who basically her entire existence seems to be the perfect wife, the perfect mother. She has this husband, she has her teenage children, and she just is sort of like, I live to serve you, make you happy. And she starts to wonder if perhaps her husband doesn't love her quite as much as he once did. And she starts to do these little tests here and there, and things escalate. And I think this is going to be one of those weird kind of psychological bizarre books that I seem to have the best time with. And I feel like after the month I've had of just everything has been awful book-wise, life's been grand, but everything I've been reading, with the exception of the smallest meagre handful of books, I've just had such a bad time with. And they've all been books that I've been really excited to read. I haven't picked anything up thinking anything other than, I'm gonna love this. I've not loved them. I've made choices that I thought were good choices, but they ended up being bad choices. And I feel very passionately that it wasn't always my fault. Sometimes the blurbs of books make me feel like I'm going to get a different book than I end up getting. And that's not my fault. It's not my fault, but I feel it's my fault. And I just had such a sad reading for September, and I hate when I have a sad reading month because I love books, I love reading, I love finding new favourites, I love being able to share my new favourites with people. And instead I'm just such a moany face of I hate everything. So that's where I am right now. I have such a small actual physical reading pile. It's only 3 physical books that I'm planning to read. The rest of them are either ebooks or audiobooks. I am toying with the idea of doing Vlogtober to almost like put myself in the best position to have a fantastic reading month. I will settle for just an okay reading month. It doesn't need to be 5 stars all the way. I will take I'll take a 3-star, please. Anything above a 2 and I will be happy. So I'm thinking of maybe doing a little bit of Vlogtober to just enjoy the sort of autumnal spooky vibes. We shall see. If I end up going down the route of disappointing reads over and over and over, then that might not be so fun for sharing, but fun for me. I would love to know what your reading goals are for October, and if you're doing Vlogtober as well. Thank you so much for watching.